Hi guys, welcome back to another recap of building Blackpool, and it's been a shitstorm since the last recap. We have played another 20 league games, and my god, we have struggled to get points. First thing, we have an FA Cup game coming up against Southampton, which is not what we need. And now, let's have a look. We ended the last one with a 3-0 defeat to Millwall. We then had a home game against Wolves, and the shit just continued to hit the fan. We got beat 3-0. We had one shot on target from 5. We were just annihilated in this game. It was utterly shocking, and that, to be honest, was the way things were for the next few 10-15 games. We then had Watford at home. We managed to get 2 shots on target this time, which was slightly better. Marcos Ramos was injured. We gave away a yellow card. And possession was slightly better. 7 shots on target, but only one. Only one more shot on target. We then had Brighton away from home, and we finally scored. David Perkins, but unfortunately Solly March equalised for Brighton with 4 shots out of a possible 10 on target. Brighton had 5 from 19 on target. Possession was evens. Tony McMahon was booked. Stephen Davis and a few other players were starting to look a little bit jaded. We then had Norwich at home and gave away a penalty. Lewis Graben scored from that penalty, and that was the only goal of the game. We had 3 shots from a potential 9 on target. Norwich had 3 from 11 on target. After Norwich, we had Borough away from home, and we went down 2-0. This was a slightly better game. 50% of our, just under 50% of our shots were on target, and we held them too early after the early goal. And yes, I'm okay with losing this one 2-0. And Sue's goal was on the counter attack. We had gone all out attacking at that point and just could not get it done. We then had Huddersfield away from home. Dominic Telford, a young guy, came on as we were suffering from injuries. I think then Marcos Ramos was injured, but Luciano Becchio scored 2 and Naki Wells scored 1. 2 goals in 7 minutes for Huddersfield. Really did shaft us at the start of the game. See there, we had 18 shots, 11 on target. We were starting to pepper the net, but could just not find the back of it. After Huddersfield, we had Derby away from home, and this was just a booking fest. 5 bookings. We went back to our old ways. 2 shots on target out of a possible 11. Lingard, Bent and Mascarell with the goals for Derby. We then had Reading away from home, and goals from Obita and Pogrebniak even secured the victory for Reading. We had another injury, Joe Rothwell this time. Now Ranger played some part in the game, although he is potentially on his way out of the club. After Reading, we had Ipswich in the league and only lost this one 1-0. It was a penalty. O'Hara was injured. Luke Hyan was sent off, but we could not beat 10 men. We could not even draw against 10 men. Ipswich had 1 shot on target out of a possible 9. We had 8 out of 16 on target. We just could not find the back of the net, and things were starting to look dire. But in the following game against Fulham, we scored twice. But wouldn't you just know it, we conceded 3. We had 4 shots out of 7 on target. Fulham had 15 out of 29 on target. They got the early goal with McCormack. Mendy got 1 back for us, and then Scott Parker just before half-time, then Brian Weiss just after half-time. That really did put the nail in the coffin. Sane got a late goal just to make things interesting for the last 5 minutes, but we could not get a third. Now, after Fulham, we then had Leeds away from home, and Stephen Davis got his first goal of the league season in the 93rd minute to rescue a point. Another bookings fest with 8 realistically, because it was 2 yellows for Berardi. But yeah, we had 6 shots of 12 on target. Leeds had 2 of 4 on target. They were the home side. This was a much better performance. The confidence was high following the 2 goals we'd scored against Fulham, and that was taken into the home game, or the relegation game, against Bolton. Ida Johnson was injured. But Thomas Zavitska caught the goal for Blackpool, and we managed to take a 1-0 win. We had first game we had not conceded in God knows how long. 4 shots on target out of a possible 7, and 2 on target out of a possible 9 for Bolton. After that, we went back to our old ways. We scored, but we conceded, and it was a utterly demoralising last-minute goal by Ben Pringle that denied us from getting a point in this game. Patrick Olsen, my star midfielder, was injured. 2 more bookings. 2 shots out of a possible 9 on target for us, 9 out of a possible 19 on target for Rotherham. We then played Birmingham at home, and this game was a shitstorm. Stephen Davies was injured. 2 bookings. O'Hara with the opening goal. Novak equalised. Jacob put us ahead for the second time. Arthur equalised, and then Lloyd Dyer, we gave him a penalty. He slotted it away, and Birmingham took the game to 2-3. And I will show you something about that Birmingham game in a second or 3. We then played Charlton away from home. Jeffrey Rentmeister scored a penalty for us. In the 20th minute, Simon Church equalised. We had 6 shots out of a possible 10 on target. Charlton had 6 shots out of a possible 16 on target in that game. We then played high-flying Bournemouth in the league and got 2 goals. Cubero from the penalty spot, and Savitska with his second. We had a shit ton of bookings once again. 4 out of 9 on target for us, 9 out of 19 on target for Bournemouth. We then played Sheff Wednesday away from home. Murphy and Steve Davis with the goals, another from the penalty spot. More bookings, 9 out of 13 on target. Things are starting to improve for us, but we had Rotherham again in the league. Went 1-0 up, and then once again we conceded 2 goals, 4 bookings, 8 out of 14 shots on target for us, 4 out of 17 shots on target for Rotherham. Where does that leave us in the league table? We are back down. We are in 21st, so from being the dizzy heights of having, after 4 games, 12 points of being in second place, we've played 20 games and only managed to amass 12 points. Birmingham, there you go. This is the significance. You could just tell we were odds-on favourites to beat Birmingham, and Birmingham had not won a game all season. I called it before the game, and yeah, we were duly FM'd in this game. Birmingham get their first league win of the season, and it was against us. They did beat Reading. Surprisingly, Reading are in 11th place. We 24 games, 7 wins, 3 draws, 14 defeats. We're not doing too bad. Obviously, we're just outside of the relegation places by 1 point, but we're only, say, 17th is only 3 points. If you go realistically, you look up to Huddersfield in 14th. They're only 5 points behind. Anything could turn around as we look to get into the January transfer window. We're on the 31st of December. I am looking to sort out some squad players, and I can show you that McMahon has signed a new deal. I can also show you we have automatically triggered the 1-year extensions for Delina, Parish, Rentmeister, Zoko, Clark, Zavitska, McKenzie, Dauphiness, Davies, Mellis, Mendy and Mitten. We have signed longer term deals for, when I can find it, there we go, here's one. Darren O'Day has signed a longer term deal until the end of the 2016-17 season. We have another couple of players who have signed new deals. One of them is Kubera. We have him until the end of 2016-2017 season. And one more rather impressive one that we have managed to do, and I did need to get this one. And rather than sign, I was going to sign this guy up just for his 1-year extension, but I decided to try and get him done for longer. And unfortunately, I cannot find the information. But Orlandini has signed a new contract, and he's with us for a couple more seasons, not just the 1 season. We have had some sackings. You see that Millwall have sacked Holloway, Fulham sacked Kit Simons, Birmingham sacked Rowett. I am surprised I have not been sacked yet, but the chairman always knew it was going to be a long season, so we are, we're getting things done. But we do have a tough game coming up against Southampton in the FA Cup, but we then have Millwall at home, so we have a nice way of bouncing back. Then obviously we've got Wolves, Watford, Brighton. The final few games are going to be very tricky. We have Derby, Fulham, Cardiff and Huddersfield in the league. As you can quickly see from the league table, Derby are up there in 4th. Fulham 9th, Cardiff 10th, and Huddersfield 14th. The one thing is that Cardiff game is Joe Lewis, our keeper, cannot play in that game as he's against his parent club. Goals. We have been struggling to score goals. Sane has got 4 goals in 8 starts and 7 substitute appearances. Zavitska has got 4 goals in 19 starts and 2 subs. Jacob Murphy's got 3 goals in 25 starts. O'Dea's got 2 in 22, and O'Dea's a centre-back. Davis has finally bagged 2 in 16 starts, 7 subs. Mendy has got 2 in 5 starts and 12 substitute appearances. Then you have Rentmeister, Cabrera, Ahar, Perkins, Orlandini, Definis, Ranger, and Dominic Telford. In terms of assists, it is Murphy leading the way with 3. Then Murphy has 4. O'Hara has 3, and it's Davies, Mendy, Orlandini all with 2. Average ratings, we only have one player who is really doing well, and that is Orlandini, who has a 7.4 rating. You see that he is valued at 2.1 million. He's now on £7,200 a week. He was on £4,200 a week. So yeah, we're not doing too bad. We have a couple of players who are rated over £1 million. One of them is only on loan, and that's Murphy. Davies is worth nearly £1 million now. We do have a few players who are on the transfer list as well. Tom Aldred is on the list. I'm not too sure I'm going to play him that much, so I've put him on the list. He's valued at 165,000. If we can get close to that, I will be happy with that. We also have David Perkins is tutoring. Who's he tutoring? Patrick Olsen, and that's a nice little bit of tutorage going on. Nyron Notsworthy is on the transfer list, as I don't think I'm going to play him. He's 34 years of age, valued at 4.1k, and more importantly, it's £4,000 off the wage budget if I can let him go. I may let him go on a free and try and negotiate a deal now. We'll have to see. Connor Oliver is wanting to play some games. I've brought him up into the main side. He's happy to come on potentially as a substitute, so we're just going to have to see about that one. And there was another guy who was saying he wasn't going to get to play that much and was asking if he could be brought up. And I can't remember who it was. It could have been Aldred. It could be one of the reasons why he's on the list. I know Telford wanted to play some games as well, so that's why he has been brought up. And to be fair, he didn't do that bad a job, and he's worth more than Niall Ranger now. But yeah, that's basically how we've got on so far. Everything seems to be fairly okay in terms of what we're doing. All I can say is it's been emotional so far. Tactics have changed slightly. We've gone to 3 in midfield. We have gone to the inside forwards now, and we've gone to an advanced forward for our striker. Team instructions are pass into space, exploit the flanks, play wider, push higher up, get stuck in, close down more, and higher tempo. They seem to be working. We have had a run of a few games where we lost a few, and then we started to turn things round. The morale of the team it's fairly good. It was poor for a lot of players. We held a team meeting and got things back on track. So yeah, guys, that's how we've got on. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little recap. If you want to come and join me in the live stream for when we are with Blackpool or another team, I may not be here for that much longer. Quickly show you the finances. First of all, transfers. You see that we are spending 10 grand over our wage budget, but I've had to sign players up for new contracts, and I was determined to not be shafted and have to try and rebuild this team. There are a few players who I think will leave, and if I can get rid of some of them now in January, then fine. I may not buy anyone. I may just keep the cash and see what I can do in terms of the youth intake. In terms of finances, it's looking pretty ropey when you get to July 2014. So when November 2014, things are looking pretty ropey. The projection is when we get to April next year, we're going to have 2.7 million in debt. When it gets to July, we're going to be 2.1 million in debt. So we're not looking too good, which is hopefully why I can try and trim a little bit off the wage budget, although that's not really going to play that much of a factor. And you see there, 2.94 million is our end of season loss. But obviously, that's only projected. There's other things which are going to come into that in terms of if I can bring players in or sell some players. I may, if Orlandini, if we get an offer for him for about £1.5 million, I may accept it. I know he's our best player, but thing is, maybe that's what we need to do. There's also TV revenue, which is going up nicely. Obviously, there are. If we get the higher we can finish, the more we can do in terms of money we're going to get from league position and where we're going to finish next season and budget and everything. So I am quietly confident we may stay up. I know we are only one place above the relegation zone, but I believe this team can stay up. We are doing really well. This next game in the league is vitally important. If we can beat Millwall and open up a 7-point gap with them, maybe even a draw, but just avoid defeat against Millwall in our next game, that is what I believe to be the target for us in our short term. The FA Cup, I don't give a crap about. We're going to get some money in for it. We're going to get some decent money in, but it's not the priority is the FA Cup. I'd prefer to get beat, and as long as you don't get beat by too much, because obviously I'm just thinking of morale of the team. But guys, that's it. That's the recap of building Blackpool. Things are going okay. They could be better. We could have had a couple more wins or even draws from that run of 1 point out. I think it was a possible 24, if not more. No, it was more than that. I think it was like 1 point out of a possible 15 games that we actually got. So yeah, we've turned it around slightly, so I know the team can do it. We've just got to go that patchy form, not like we had where we actually went through so many games beaten. If we could have turned this 2-1 defeat into a 2-2 draw, this 1-0 defeat into a 1-1 draw, this 1-0 defeat into a 1-1 draw, it's only a couple of extra points, but morale wouldn't be so low. This 3-2 defeat against Birmingham that we should just not have lost from being up twice, if we could have had that even into a draw, it's one more point. There's positives to take from this. Say we'd managed to turn some of those into draws, we'd be up on 27 points, we'd be up 17th, 18th, 19th. Things will be looking better, but we're just going to have to see what happens between now and the rest of the season. But guys, I'm going to call it a day there. I've got some contracts to negotiate with some players. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.